if you are aspiring to refine your character traits, you have to be free of any bodily desire. Meaning you cannot be aroused, angry, sad, depressed, or any of these types of extreme emotions and think that you're going to be able to elevate yourself spiritually. Your body has to be free of these bodily desires at that moment. Now, of course, there's a time to be aroused when you're with your wife, when you're with your husband. Surely that's appropriate time. If you're not at that time, there's something wrong. As men, are not as difficult. Women are much more difficult, which is actually a problem of its own. Maybe one day we'll have to do a second shiur about to explain to people that intimacy in a Jewish relationship is extremely important. Without it, Rabotai, a Jewish marriage cannot be healthy. It cannot be healthy. Sometimes you have people that are simply become roommates. They live together, they eat together, they sleep in the same bed together, but nothing. No feelings whatsoever. And it's a nightmare to live in, but they don't want to get divorced because of the kids, because of the embarrassment, because of the community. Now, the truth is, Judaism also doesn't want them to get divorced, but it doesn't want them to stay married that way either. And it's very, very important to know that there's a time and place that you have to act like a husband and wife. Now, if men understood that the mind of a woman is different, and women understood that the mind of a man is different, and acted accordingly, life would be much simpler. The problem is that everyone compares the other part, the other gender, to each other, to themselves. And that's a problem. The guy is expecting the wife to act like him. So he talks to her like, hey, what's up? What's going on? What'd you do today? Oh, okay. Talk to you later. No, I love you. No moochie moochie. No little hug. No little nothing. No romance. No nothing. No flower. Last flower he got was for the wedding. 20 years ago. Well, I got her a flower. She had one. I got her one already. She has one. It died 20 years ago. Like the love in your relationship died. Nothing. No romance. He doesn't understand a woman needs romance. She needs it. He does also, but she needs it even more. He's not romantic. The relationship's not going to go anywhere. No, we're good. No, we're good. On the other hand, the woman thinks that the guy could be her girlfriend. And she could talk his ear off until he's blue in his face. Not going to work. What? If he's talking so much, most likely he's homosexual. If he doesn't want to stop talking, most likely he became your girlfriend. Guys are not talkative. Unless they have a problem, like me. You don't stop talking. Hashem gave you a gift of talking. But generally speaking, Rabotai Be'emet, seriously, guys are not going to talk about the same things as women. It's just not going to work. That's not the way it is. Now, a guy, you can get his attention with different things. And you have to understand that in order for him to be the husband you want him to be, you have to be with him. You have to be with him. Now, even though it's not an obligation on the woman to be with the man, it's actually an obligation for the man to be with the woman. A woman cannot play a Nazi in the bedroom, where she pretty much, it's he didn't say this, he didn't say that, he didn't act perfect the last month. No, I'm not going to talk to him for 6 months. You're a shait. You're a wicked woman. You starve your husband that way, you're a wicked woman. Why? Because, Rabotai Yekarim, you have to understand, a man has different types of physical needs, a woman does also. But for a man, the Gemara says, if his wife raises his children and keeps him away from sin, meaning the sin of wasting seed, she's considered an eshet chayil. She's considered the best woman in the world. Greatest woman in the world. Why? She has to raise kids, make sure they're not becoming avalyanim, become criminals, make sure they learn Torah, make sure they do mitzvot, they respect the parents and so on, and she keeps them away from sin. Those two things. Gemara doesn't say if she cooks, she cleans, she is the best, nothing. She does those two things, she's an eshet chayil. Which means what? Means if she doesn't do those two things, she's the opposite of eshet chayil. even though she's not obligated. She's not obligated, like the man. Needless to say, she's not a good woman. She's not a good woman. Why? Because she has to understand he has physical needs. Now, it would surprise many women that she actually needs to be with a husband even more than he needs with her, spiritually. Why? Because there's a certain thing that happens spiritually when the man and the woman are together that gives nachat to our soul. Gemara talks about it. Gives nachat to our soul. When they're not together, she's stressed out, she doesn't know what's going on, angry, stingy, all the worst things in the world. So the point is, Rabotai, is that the Torah talked to us about family purity, not just to let us know when not to be together. The Torah is not just about what not to do. It's also to bring light of what to do. There's a time not to be together, and there's a time you have to be together. For example, mikveh night, obligation to be together. Obligation. My Rav told me, he said, listen, you need to know family purity. We learned family purity. I said, yeah, but I asked the question. I said, listen, right now, I give shiurim. At the time it was 3 people in a shiur, so it wasn't exactly some big audience. But I said, I don't know, listen, what if like a big rabbi, I don't know, name a big rabbi, has thousands of people, and coming to his shiurim, and it happens to be that he scheduled a shiur, 1,000 people are supposed to show up, and happens to be mikveh night. Happens to be mikveh night. So without losing a breath, Rav Ephraim says he has to cancel the shiur. I said, no, hold on a second. I have to ask the question again. Hold on a second, Rabbi. Listen, Rav Ephraim, listen to me. Is Rav Ovadia, biggest rabbi in the world. He doesn't need you to tell him what to do. He knows what to do, right? Rav Ovadia has every one of his lectures 5,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people. We're not talking about little 5 people. We're talking about thousands. Happens to be, he planned it 6 months in advance, right? Happens to be, as the Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, 5,000 people are showing up to a place, but it's going to be mikveh night. Which means that by the time he comes back from the shiur, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, she may fall asleep. She may be sleeping already. Without losing a breath. Rav Ephraim says he has to cancel the shiur. No shiur. I said, yeah, but what about the 10,000 people? He goes, let them go somewhere else. But they're waiting. They go, doesn't make a difference. Rishon LeTzion, Chilul Hashem. There's no Chilul Hashem. Don't make mitzvot for me, he told me. Don't start making mitzvot for me. That's how powerful family purity is. To show us it's not just about when not to be together. It's about the power of how important it is to be together on that day. And the Rambam goes into it. He says, a regular Am Haaretz doesn't know much. Every day he has to be with his wife. If he wants to be, she wants to be, they're together, everything's good, every day. Talmid Chacham, someone learns, needs a strength and so on, he could be okay with once or twice a week. It's enough. Shouldn't do it every day. Why? He's not going to have strength. He shouldn't act like an Am Haaretz and so on. But the point is, Rabotai, is that relationship that you have with your wife, that relationship that you would have with your husband is so critical that if people only knew and understood it, there would simply never be a divorce. There would never be guys calling me, texting me, emailing me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, listen, Rabbi, I need your help. How am I going to stop wasting seed? I said, get married. He goes, I'm married already 15 years. I'm married 20 years. I got 3 kids. I said, how come you're wasting seed? He goes, no, my wife doesn't want to be with me. I said, for what? A week, 2 weeks? He goes, no, I haven't been with her in 6 months. Rabotai, I told her she's a chilonit. She doesn't believe in God. He goes, no, she has kisui rosh and everything. Kisui rosh. She should cover her face too, become a different religion. What's the matter with you? Rabotai, it's very, very important when it comes to Jewish ideology to know it's not just about what's not allowed. It's about what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. These things are very, very important. Why? Because you're seeing, unfortunately, now that the Jewish world never had a divorce problem, Baruch Hashem. Divorce was a problem that the Goyim had. Whether those Goyim were really Goyim or Jews that acted like Goyim. Secular Jews. Divorce was never really a problem for Jewish people. But now it's becoming a problem. Religious Jews have a problem. He's cheating, she's cheating. Why are you cheating? Why do you need to cheat? If you follow the instructions, every month is Gan Eden. Every month is honeymoon. If you follow the instructions to the T, like it says in HALACHA, you don't touch, you don't hug, you don't this when you're not supposed to. And then when you're supposed to, you do. If you followed it to a T, every single month is mamash like the day you got married. But what happens? People, they listen to Manis Friedman. They may listen to Shmuley Boteach. They listen to the guys that wrote books with pornography stars because they want to learn about sexuality from Goyim. Because some Zona was intimate with as many men as she can count, so Shmuley Boteach wrote a book with her. He figures she's the expert. So you have people with long beards writing books about this subject and confusing people even more. You don't need to learn these books. It's very simple. Follow HALACHA. You follow HALACHA, you'll have the best life, best marriage in history. If the guy watches his eyes, if he watches his mouth, if he learns Torah, if she learns Torah, if they do everything they're supposed to, Rabotai, you will never see one Jewish house with a divorce. Never. You won't even see a house with a fight. That's how beautiful it is. But what happens? When we start mixing our own Yetzirah-driven ideology and mix and match it like a shakshuka with the Jewish ideology and call it Jewish, we get confused. So the Chazon Ish is trying to do us a very big chesed. He's trying to elaborate and clarify what does it mean a Jewish ashkafa, a Jewish ideology. What does it mean? So first he started is, listen to me. If you want to elevate your neshama, you have to start getting control of your bodily desires. There's a time and a place for everything. The time and a place for everything. You're allowed at this point, you're not allowed at this point. It may not make sense to you, but it doesn't make a difference. Not everything has to make sense to you. You don't really know how radio waves work, but you still use a phone. You don't know how the x-ray machine works, but if you need to use it, you're going to use it. You don't know how the medicine works, but you're still going to take it if you have to. Stop trying to understand everything. Trust the Chachamim. They understand. Trust the experts. Anyone that tries to understand everything ends up understanding nothing. There's a certain time and place where you just say, you know what, this is what it says, finished. Why? If this genius said it's good, I'm just going to rely on him. Just like you rely on your local doctor, just like you rely on your local pharmacist, just like you rely on a teacher, just like you rely on every other profession. Our sages were geniuses in all aspects. Anyone that learned some of the history about some of our sages and the genius that they had just in their personal lives, things they've achieved, would say, I don't understand, how come this is not known by everyone in the world?